And here we are,
Yes.
9:32 Eastern Time. Joe Cioffi, Fios One News, Long Island, and Fios One News, New Jersey.
And Joe Rayo, Fios One News, Lower Hudson Valley. Our final, although I think actually since the two of us are going to be here on Tuesday, Christmas Day.
Well, maybe we'll sneak something
We'll sneak something in then. But right now it's looking, Joe, like if you are a snow lover, or if you're hoping to be, if you're in the traditionalist that you would like a little snow for either Christmas or Christmas Eve, your hopes are pinned on a small disturbance that'll be racing through the Great Lakes on Sunday, and maybe might provide us with a little white Sunday night.
Yeah, Sunday night. I don't know. It just doesn't. It doesn't look like any big deal. It looks pretty minor. Why don't we just wrap everything up really fast? Phil Demore, nice to see you this evening. John Sears, nice to see you this evening. But you need to have some rice. John's got some stomach issues tonight.
Oh, okay.
So he needs to.
Well, that's good.
He needs to not eat ice cream and to have a little bit of rice.
I have a Yorkie who's over 15 years old, and my wife, who is in charge of the feeding, always gives the dog rice. And I think maybe that's part of the reason why he's lasted as long as he has. He gets rice with every meal.
Well,
so
keeps my dog was on the food that I gave him had rice, so yeah,
right.
it helps.
Right.
And he was very stomach sensitive. All right, Leo, we'll keep the weather kind of short because this way we can maybe get involved in the chat tonight, do a little bit of ask us anything going into Christmas. So our storm, Joe, it's kind of winding down. Still getting a little bit of rain out over parts of Long Island, out in Suffolk County, for the most part. A couple of drops in Nassau, but that's because we still have this southerly flow. But this should start lifting northward. Winds are going to starting to pick up. I noticed that the winds were sustained on the island in the last hour, running at about 20 to 25 miles an hour from the southeast. So we should start to see that back around to the south and southwest, and then just get rid of this. And tomorrow it doesn't look all that bad, although it will be on the breezy to occasionally windy side, and we should have at least some sun in the mix.
Right. The places that were along the shore got hit pretty hard with strong gusty winds during the day today. Not so much inland. I mean, where I live in Putnam County, we had quite a bit of rain, but really the winds were not really a big deal. But now tomorrow, these winds are going to be funneling in from the west-northwest, and even for inland locations, it looks like at times the winds will be gusting past 30 miles per hour. So it'll be pretty breezy, as you just mentioned. We should break out into some sunshine, and even though it's going to be about 10 or 12 or 14 degrees cooler tomorrow as opposed to today, where we're going to be tomorrow, still not bad for this time of the year, and at least in the Lower Hudson Valley, Westchester County Airport, for example, the normal high is 39, and we're looking for temperature, at least I'm looking for temperatures tomorrow in the mid and maybe even upper 40s.
Right, which should probably be more earlier in the day anyway, because it'll be left over.
Right.
The rainfall, by the way, this was as of 7 o'clock. For much of the area, the rain was over with, but their amounts would probably need to be added for Long Island anyway, and for Connecticut. But we did have pockets of 2 inches plus. I don't know if you saw any individual stations, but it was certainly enough to cause some flooding. And we had the raging river out here coming into work today. The
Bronx River did its thing as it normally does, and the Bronx River Parkway was shut down for an inordinate length of time, just in time for the morning commute. But don't say we didn't warn you. We said that was going to be the case. That's always the case for the parkways in Westchester that are attached to a body of water, and so it was not unexpected. And also, we broke a record at Westchester Airport, 62. What made that interesting, Joe, is that the record was broken like at 7:30 this morning. 62 degrees, the old record 57, set back in 1957, and so that goes out of the record books and is replaced by what we had out there today.
The unusual thing about this storm, Joe, it was rain all the way up into Maine. Ski country will probably get some snow over the weekend and Sunday into Monday. Right now you're seeing some of the leftover rain, but we're starting to see that eastward progression here as the system moves along. And I guess we should take a look at, let's just bring the new NAM up really fast. We got a little bit of a late start tonight, so.
No, but maybe we'll get a little cheap cheese.
Let's see. So let's take a look.
From our friends at the North American Model Company.
Yes. All right, so you know what, we can get even close up. Let's get might as well magnify whatever we have. Okay, so starting with tonight, of course, that rain pulling away. The NAM not really showing what's backed on the radar that's been left over on Long Island, but you see how it flares up there over Suffolk County. Just taking a little time for all of this to load. A little bit of backside snow. The colder air is, this thing is just kind of oriented north-south, so we just have to wait. As you pointed out yesterday, that upper trough has to swing through, line up the winds with the surface winds and the upper air winds, and that's when the colder air starts to come in. It's not overly cold behind this. It'll bring the temperatures back down closer to average. By the way, except for Sunday night into early Monday morning, there really isn't much of anything that's going to be going on through next week until late in the week.
And we like it that way now.
To keep things quiet.
Yes.
Okay, so
where are we? We're at 21Z. Saturday?
This is so we're at 7 o'clock tomorrow night.
I'll tell you what, though, a lot of you, if you stick your head outside tomorrow night, it might for a few seconds look like it snowed because we have a full moon tomorrow night, and the winter moon, the moon closest to the solstice, the winter solstice, is always the highest and the brightest of the year. And I know where I am, where I don't have very many street lights. Sometimes when there's a full moon, I look out the window and say, "Oh, look, it snowed." It didn't snow, but that's the only thing that'll be missing tomorrow night. If we had a bit of snow, it really would look like Christmas is right around the corner. Now, ooh, that's interesting.
So this is at 1 a.m. Monday.
No rain at all.
Please don't tell me that, I don't want to have any issues, but it's all inland, at least on the NAM. We actually have out till the morning. So if you believe this, northeastern Pennsylvania, northwest New Jersey, the Hudson Valley, Connecticut, not Long Island. There's some kind of weak low way out here. There's very little witness. This is just basically a little shortwave trough moving through. Just kind of curious what kind of snow do we get out of it. Well, let's look at the precip. We can't look at that. This is not going to help because it doesn't give 24-hour precip, so we don't know. You might have to pull and the foose doesn't go out far enough,
right? So
that doesn't help us. So I guess the only thing we really
wait a minute, how far out are we? 60?
63. So 60. This is 60 hours. No, the foose will help us. It goes out to 60.
Yeah.
So you can go do a foose hunt real quick.
All right, I will.
And I'll pull up the snow map. Yes.
Sorry about that.
Coding to a couple inland. North and west. It looks like it's north of 287.
Okay, well that's where I am. This is what I want to do on my day off is to do some shoveling.
Well, you're talking about a coating to an inch. You don't shovel a coating to an inch. You either let it melt or you sweep it.
I'll make my wife shovel it. Ah!
She made some great cookies tonight. They were awesome.
That's her forte.
I had 4 of them.
Hang on, come on, Foose. Yes.
Anything exciting yet?
I haven't gotten there.
Dude, he's putting in the letters into the keyboard, one finger at a time.
All right, here we go. So let's see.
Doesn't give LaGuardia anything.
They don't have anything for LaGuardia.
Well, I'm just.
And even if they did, the boundary certainly is low enough at 5:31.
Right.
By 7 a.m. on Monday, but the overall boundary level temperature, the T1 is at +1, T2 is only -2, and T3 is minus 3.
So inland enough for a cheap thrill, then.
I'm looking at Albany. Albany doesn't have anything. Albany has 6 100s by 7 a.m.
The model generates a coating to a couple of inches. And that's it. So it'll be a cheap thrill for inland spots if it even happens, and we'll leave it at that.
If it does.
All right. So let's. I'm just running through here.
That means you'll be calling us in an emergency situation on Monday.
Stop it. Okay. I see Addison Green is on. Addison, you're on vacation. Relax. But always good to see you, of course. Just trying to see if there's anybody. Have no questions tonight. The storm was a bust in your area, Robert Woods. No major wind. It was a normal rainstorm. Now, Robert, I don't know. Oh, Robert, are you down? I'm sorry if this is the Robert Woods. I think it is.
Greetings, Addison. We just saw your greetings there.
Robert, I'm sorry. Just remind me. My head's a little clogged up here at the moment. Where are you exactly? Because the rain should not have been an issue inland. No, I'm thinking of Robert Brown, who's down in Maryland. So where
Okay.
are you? There was a bit of a dry patch in northwest New Jersey. The wind was really always going to be confined to coastal areas. It was never going to be inland. Merry Christmas to Ann Alicia. Nice to see you on board. Grandson's coming tomorrow, so I'm very excited. And just trying to everybody else. John said he had his rice, which is good. Paul Gaduzzi saying at LaGuardia Airport as well. Record 62. Record only lasted 7 years. We get these kind of days in December every so often. This is not that overly unusual.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, so I got my Christmas poems.
Oh, really?
Yes. All right, next to... Let's see. So, I've already posted the Snow Lovers version of 'Twas the Night Before Christmas. But for those of you who haven't seen it, 'Twas the night, and I wrote these a couple of years ago. There's 2 Christmas poems that I wrote. One's a little more serious, but so 'twas the night before Christmas, and all through the east, not a snowflake was flying, not one in the least. Snow lovers were checking inside of their stocking to see if Santa would leave them some blocking. The pattern you see is very complex because of the northernmost polar vortex. While some models show the pattern will switch, there's always a model that puts up a hitch. The weenies all lined up alongside a bridge and threaten to jump because of the ridge. But whether it changes or just stays the same, the day-to-day weather will always remain a challenge to forecast, for which is your call from Joe and Joe, the wish, Merry Christmas to all. Now, this is my more serious one.
Okay.
I call it my non-politically correct version, filled with religious overtones, totally and utterly offensive, to which I just smile.
Okay.
Okay. 'Twas the night before Christmas, intellectuals stated. The concept of God is completely outdated. Christmas a word that should not be spoken. The idea of faith is essentially broken. So let's call it something completely generic, as not to offend or make one hysteric. For God is something that just isn't real, except in the week it has an appeal. But Joe will inform that Christmas is much more than a casual holiday lunch. It is not a new iPhone, it's not a new tie, nor is it something that's based on a lie. Christmas is for those who search out for hope, for those who seek shelter or trying to cope, or feeling life's pain, which to relieve, and dealing with loss and trying to grieve. Christmas itself is God's special way of saying, I'm here for you every day, offering comfort, joy, whatever your plight. People look closely. In life, there is light. And
yes.
So it is.
Yes, absolutely.
That is my never to be humble opinion, and it'll always be my never to be humble opinion. What is Santa bringing you for Christmas?
Me?
Mm-hmm.
I honestly don't know what Santa's bringing me. I did put in a couple of suggestions, and we'll see if they come true. But I'm more a giver than a taker. I mean, I scurry around and try to find whoever wants something gets it.
Okay.
And
I want a new car. You offered
all
here.
right. Well, okay. I'll throw in a few bucks.
You can save money by not putting a bow on it. All right. I am thrilled. My daughters are all coming home from all well, one is already home, but they are all going to be here, coming in from all different areas, and my grandson is going to be here too.
Baby's first Christmas.
Yes, and I got him this this gigantic Lionel train, the Polar Express,
right,
which I sent to them, and he's terrified of it. It's these things. It's got it makes the whistles and the track noise and everything else, and he's only 7 months old, so he was just the sounds were just. So I have 7 sets at home.
Okay.
So I'm going to find the one that makes the least amount of noise.
Everybody got Lionel when they were a kid. I remember that too. Anybody ever get HO? You remember HO?
I actually had an HO set. I even have some N-gauge trains, which are those really tiny ones. Mm. But one of the things I found with the beauty of Lionels, I mean, they're great. They're beautiful sets, but they're big. So it wasn't a struggle to put them on the track and get the wheels on.
Right.
With HOs, you had to struggle a little bit because they were smaller. And with the N gauge, I don't have the patience for that. They would, I'd finally get them on the track and get them going, and within moments they'd fall off, and then I'd spend more time getting those trains onto the tracks than actually running them on their layouts.
And there are guys, and I'm sure you have been involved to maybe some degree, at this time of the year especially, where you go to places that have a tremendous layout, and you see these grown men who just sit there with the engineer caps on.
Oh yeah, I have my cap.
And they just play around with it. I mean, they really are into this sort
of thing.
Well,
do you look at some of the construction? There's a YouTube channel that a couple of YouTube channels that I found where the organization is in the city. They build replicas of the New York City subway system, and
wow.
I mean they build them with realism. Beautiful, the L's and the stations themselves and the subway part,
the tiles
and the city. Yeah, it's a lot of work. I had made, there was a point, I still have them, but remember the old, what was it, the Elmhurst gas tank?
Right.
All right. So I made something similar, having lived in the South, or if you're in New Jersey, you see the big oil, and gas
right.
Tanks that are up there, but I was doing research, and I wound up making them out of coffee cans, and they spray painted them. I got I got the old Exxon credit card application, and I cut the logo out right. and pasted it on, and it was great. It's a lot of fun doing that. It's like you're creating your own little world.
Where we used to live, and now I'm talking about very, very young boys. On First Avenue, they had 2 gas tanks, and I
remember, sure.
And I'd love going down to the corner of First Avenue, looking in, and on a daily basis, you see how high they were up or how low they were down. Or
do you remember? I miss this a lot. First Avenue was all cobblestone,
right?
And they tore it up now, and it's all years ago they did, but for years, it was all sections of it were cobblestone, like it was back in the 1800s.
I remember it well.
And there used to be an L on First Avenue, Second Avenue, and Third Avenue. One of the interesting things about the Second Avenue and the Third Avenue L that I thought was hilarious is talk about conspiracies. So they wanted to the real estate industry wanted to get rid of the L's. And because they're not attractive,
right? And
property values would skyrocket when they did. So the problem was that they had the Second Avenue L and the Third Avenue L. They wanted the Third Avenue L down. So what they did was they lobbied to get the Second Avenue L torn down, because the Second Avenue L was newer and was in very good shape.
Right.
The Third Avenue L was in horrible shape.
Right.
So they got the Second Avenue L torn down right a little bit before World War II, and within 10 years the Third Avenue L had deteriorated to a point where they just had to take it down anyway. So they won on both counts. But there's still, on the Queensboro Bridge at 2nd Avenue, there's still a remnant of that L going into the bridge. And if you go on YouTube, you can actually find videos of old Manhattan in the 1940s when both L's were running.
Right.
The Third Avenue L was a thing of beauty. It ran all the way up through the Bronx.
Mm-hmm.
It ran over the Willis Avenue Bridge, connected Third Avenue up through the Bronx. That L was taken down in 1973.
Mm-hmm.
That went into the Gun Hill Road station on the number 2 line.
Okay.
But I just love all this stuff, and when you see these replicas of these subway layouts that these trained folks that are into this do, I mean they're just amazing.
Now, didn't they also had on the Queensboro Bridge a building that was a hospital, and they called it the Upside Down House, because ambulances or cars that were going to the hospital, they would go to a certain spot, and they would literally, it would be like a trap door, and there'd be
really,
an
I didn't know this.
That would take the car down into the hospital.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Maybe you can Google Upside Down House one day.
I'll have to take a look.
Queensboro.
All right, we're coming up to the top of the hour, folks, so we got to go. Joe and I are out. We're both out Monday.
Right.
So Merry Christmas to all of you. Enjoy your weekend. Please travel safely. over the weekend, wherever you happen to be going, and of course on Christmas Eve. Enjoy your time, enjoy your families. This is a really nice time of year, a little bit of peace and quiet in everybody's lives. Take a back seat to all the clutter and noise that goes on a daily basis. So do take the time out to enjoy yourselves. And just a big thank you to everybody, by the way, those of you who are here night after night. I don't know how you do it, frankly. But
my wife doesn't know how they do it.
I know, but thanks so much for being here. And of course, we'll be back. Joe and I will try and maybe pop on Christmas while we're eating our feast over here at work.
Yes, they do feed us well on the holidays.
That they do.
One thing they do. And we thank Verizon and all of the people here at Fios One for doing that for us.
Thank you. Yes, and, they do feed us well here. That's
why I'm coming in on Tuesday.
Ralph,
they feed me better here than I do at home.
Ralph picks out he just really just gets great food.
Right.
Great food.
Right.
And anyway.
And this is a special Christmas for you, Grandpa. Your first Christmas. So
I haven't seen my grandson since the beginning of November. So this is
this is
good. I mean, with pictures and FaceTime and everything else. I get my daily dose of pictures every day from my daughter. Thank God I brought her up well. But yeah, they're all coming up. My daughter up in Connecticut, she's coming down with my son-in-law. My other daughter's home, so it's all good.
I'm not a grandfather yet like you are, but I think I have that same
I want
kind
another
of
one.
If
my daughters are watching.
One at a time, please.
I want another one.
But I have that same feeling because we went through the whole thing, raising the kids, and they say, when are you getting out of the house, and blah blah blah. But now
be careful what you wish for, because they do get out of the house, and then it gets awfully empty. And
I find I come home at night, I say, did Joseph call? Did Maria call? Are they coming over this weekend or whatever? Because and this is going to be great for the holiday coming up.
With 3 daughters, for all the noise that they would create on a daily basis, and when it was happening, and you're complaining about it, obviously, but that's the thing. It's the quiet I don't like.
Right.
The noise was I truly miss. So that's why this weekend with everybody in the house, it's going to be good, and I'm picking them up tomorrow. So.
Great, fantastic.
All right, have a great weekend, everybody. Take care, and we'll see you. We'll probably see you on Tuesday.